the youngest known person to serve on D-Day was Jim Radford. He was just 15. He was a galley boy on a merchant navy tug, and he became part of the biggest naval invasion force that the world has ever known. Jim Radford is now 85, and he's been speaking to our reporter Tom Bateman about the events of the 6th of June, 1944.
Heading out to sea after a 24-hour delay because of the weather. Warships of the Royal Navy with units of the Canadian and United States Navies range their main armour on the coastal batteries.
6th of June, the invasion fleet, I never ever saw so many ships together, and I don't suppose anyone ever will. There were more than 7,000 ships crossing the channel, and the sea was black with ships. How the Germans didn't spot us long before they did, it beats me. And as we approached the beaches at Normandy, long before we could see the beaches, we could hear the gunfire and see the flashes, and as we got closer, of course, there was a most tremendous bombardment taking place. Every ship was firing its guns, even we were firing our Oerlikon gun. It was like Dante's Inferno. I mean, there were blazing landing craft on the beach, and you could still see the fighting going on.
When you were approaching in that fleet, could you believe what you were seeing?
I mean, like everyone else, even then in 44, I'd seen war films, but it's amazing the difference is when it's real. These scenes you saw on films, they show you just a snapshot, but the beach at Armanchie is wide. You had a panoramic view, so in every direction you could see this going on. You could see burning ships, you could see rockets, you could see guns fired. On the beach you could see lots of dead men. In the water was full of dead men. A very sad memory of D-Days. All the poor devils who never made it to the beach, who were in the water with life jackets on, floating, and we hadn't time to pull them out. And your thought is, this is real, this is actually happening.
What was your job? I mean, what was the tug doing?
Our initial job on D-Day was to tow and nudge these block ships into the allotted positions and then blow the bottom out of them with explosive charges, scuttle them. The block ships became the skeleton base, as it were, for the Mowbray Harbour. So that was our job, to build the Mowbray Harbour.
Such are the fruits of 1944, and no one can be blamed, provided he does not slacken his effort for a moment. No one can be blamed for hoping that victory may come to the Allies and peace may come to Europe in 1945.
I'm very much opposed to war as a means of settling differences, but no question in my mind, but that war had to be fought. We had to defeat Nazism, otherwise we'd all be enslaved for generations.
So what made you opposed to war? I mean, if that war had to be fought, why are you opposed to war now?
Well, if you've seen slaughter on that scale, you have to stop and think, what justified? Well, yes, it was justified in that case. It was necessary. But then in so many cases, it's not. Most of the wars have been since, I can't think of any exceptions, have seemed to me unnecessary and avoidable.
You've got your medals out here and you're about to polish them for the events coming up over the next week. What do you think about, often when we look back, we sort of look back at these events in a sense of glory, and certainly, you know, the way that they're remembered, the narrative of these things in film and fiction and so on. I mean, do you think it was glorious?
No, I don't think it was glorious. You should respect the courage and self-sacrifice of people who give their lives for others, of course, but there's no glory in it. I used to go on Remembrance Sunday, I used to go to the Cenotaph, and we went this year, but we went with Veterans for Peace and sang an anti-war song there, and had our banner read, Never Again. But normally I don't go to the Cenotaph. I stopped going to the Cenotaph some years ago. I go to the Merchant Navy Memorial at Tower Hill, and the reason I don't go to the Cenotaph usually is because that ceremony has been hijacked by politicians, by the royal family, by the church. It's not about the royal family, it's not about the politician, and it's not about the church.
Did you go back to Normandy after the war?
I've just been back there now. I've only been back 3 times since. But when I went back and stood on the beach at Armanchie and saw, you know, this scene of death and destruction that I remembered so well, when I saw it as a beach covered in children and sandcastles and people running and laughing and playing, that moved me enormously, and the contrast is so amazing.